Okay, hatboro-horsham. This is Delta Blues. We're starting to look into Delta Blues. And the first thing about Delta Blues, we're going to be playing in the key of E, which is basically 12-bar blues with an E, an A, and a B. E is the first chord being in the key of E. That's the number one chord, that's the key chord, the root chord, the home chord, and I think that's the best way to think of it. That it's the home chord, it's going to sound the most familiar, or the most comfortable, and the most right. And a note that you can pretty much always come back to, except on the 5 chord. There's some little things about that, but we'll talk about that as we go along. And the 12-bar blues is basically this. And you want to get this into your head, so that when you're at work, it's in your head, and whatever you're doing, it's in your head. Very distracting, but at least then you can accompany this. And I'm just going to play through it so that we're all on the same page. When I say 12-bar blues in the key of E, we're going to start with 4, and we'll count them. We're going to start with 4 bars, 4 measures of an E chord, and that would be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 1, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, A, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 8, 2, 2, 3, 4, back to the B, 1, 2, 3, 4, A, 1, 2, 3, 4, just one measure, and then back to the E, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then to the B chord. So I played that slowly, just so you get used to this progression, how each chord, it's going to be really important that you keep that progression running in your head, those chords running in your head. You always want to know, wherever you're playing, what chord you're on. And with the 12-bar blues, that's why everybody plays the 12-bar blues. It's kind of a really natural rhythm. It's something that you've heard in, as you've heard me say in class, literally thousands and thousands of songs. Rock and roll is based on it to a very large extent. And it's just a really natural progression. You can just feel it. And I want you to tap into feeling that so that you know where you are at all times. That's really important. The other thing is to know where the E note is at all times. And we're going to get into this over the course of the sessions that we have this summer. So let's just do that again. I'm just going to do a alternated bass, which I know you're being very challenged with that. I'm just going to demonstrate this with an alternated bass, just with a real slow, easy blues song, not doing anything special. But what I'd like you to note is a few things. I've always told you that the separation between a major and a minor is the really key attack point for any blues, for most rock and roll, for most blues, or you could say for all blues. Although that could be challenged, but and the other thing is the 7th. See, that's the 7th chord. I'm adding a D note, and if you look at the paper that I sent you, and I want you to have that paper with you at all the classes that we have, look at that paper, really understand it. Call me if you don't, or email me if you don't understand. But you will note in that it's really important, the relationship of the 7th, this dominant 7th, which is a D note in the E chord, and that it's a G note in the A chord, the A7th chord. And you should note right off the bat that 7th note, the 7th note in any chord is always just one back from the name of the chord. So an A chord would have a G. That's one whole step back, or 2 frets back, or 2 moves back, 2 notes back. And that gives it a real bluesy sound. You hear the difference between this chord and that chord. Here's the major chord, and then when I put this D note in, it makes it a 7th, makes it a bluesy sound. If I make this A chord, it's got that sweet, nice sound of an A chord, but if I put this G at string 1, fret 3, it gets a bluesy sound to it. So as I go through this, just note that I'm going to be at this 3rd and 4th. Here's G, And you can hear it, I'm trilling there between a G and a G sharp. The G sharp is the third, look on your sheet that I sent you, is the third in an E scale. It's E, F sharp, G sharp. A G, not the sharp, but this G makes it a minor. And you hear the whole different sound there with it. That's an E minor, and here's an E major. People describe that as a brighter sound. That's a brighter sound. This is darker, more somber sound, this E minor. That's just the difference of this one note, this G sharp and the G. So you're gonna tap into that in the blues. You're gonna be bending and you know, that G, well, I'll show you as we get into this. You're gonna be bending that. You're also gonna be playing a lot of sevenths. So I'm gonna just highlight when I go through this, just a simple little thing, just making it up off the top of my head as I go, as you'll be able to do. And where I'm just playing a lot of sevenths, and I'm playing this little trill here, or just between the G and the G sharp on the third. So here's what a 12-bar blues would sound like with an alternated bass. To an A now. That's the seventh. That's the seventh. And that's that little G, G sharp. That's it. B, and now. And what I did there was just, I put my index finger on string 2, fret 3, my ring finger on, or excuse me, my middle finger on string 3, fret 4, and I just used this E bass here and went, right, just walked right along chromatically, is how we'd express that, and then to the E, and then to a B seventh. And I'm not asking you to do this. I just want you to get the feel of what the that 12-bar blues sounds like. So it'd be to an A. Now join you on the next tape here where I'll show you how we're just going to use that, an E minor scale with a little bit of E Dorian thrown in, and one note basically that we're going to bend. And what you can do just on the first string and just kind of hacking around, having fun with that. It's a lot of fun to play the blues. And I just do like a little 12-bar thing that I want you to hear that progression, that, you know, whatever chord that we're on, and I'll shout it out when it comes. But we're just going to use the first string, and then I'm going to do one on the second string, and then we'll do a little on both strings and show how I can work that into an alternating bass and come out with like a double blues type song. Okay, I'll see you at the next tape.